Happy Friday. Happy Good Friday to everyone. Welcome to Talk About TV, and Talk About TV's Friday morning show is Expitality. Randy, it's kind of dark where you are.
I don't know why that is.
I know, usually I can see you really well. I just realized, but anyway, that's fine. Shine a light or it's okay. Um, if you have a light, you could turn it on. I can barely see your face for some reason, but
I'm living into this.
you're living the dream. You're living the cave dream.
I am.
You're living the I haven't moved from my desk since last night and I didn't know I didn't turn the light on dream. Sorry, I'm kidding you. I know you've been really focused on a really exciting project. So
Yeah.
happy Good Friday to everyone. We come together every Friday morning for the show Expitality Time, and we're really here to talk about the experience of hospitality. And we've had a few days of interesting hospitality, haven't we?
Oh my goodness, yes. This week has been one for the books. It has been amazing.
Are
I
you
mean, sorry.
I was saying, are you losing your voice? Are you okay?
Yeah, when all the rain hit California, everything started blooming. So now the pollen and allergies are rampant all around California. So I apologize.
No, I think that's happening to a lot of people here too. And I think when you travel, your body has to kind of readjust to wherever you are. But maybe we can share with everyone like what we experienced. We were out on property with a client for a few days, and actually we had a couple trips. So there were some interesting contrasts in my mind to the experience of hospitality we had and didn't have. It's always interesting to see how people extend that in their own business and to their own clients and customers. So maybe you want to start and then I can put in my 222 cents.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we have just had an amazing run here of getting a lot of inquiries from some amazing clients. And so the word about Expitality and what you do and what we do together is definitely getting out. We've just had phone call after phone call with interested clients in what we do, which is extremely rewarding for proof of concept. And of course, we did have some travel, didn't we? We're in Memphis, and then we're in Birmingham, and then we're in Lebanon, Tennessee. We covered over 700 miles in one day. And just for grins, I was checking that out, and that's the equivalent of you driving one way to Winnipeg, Canada, or Nogales, Mexico, or me driving to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So we put some miles on that day to visit these site locations, but it was absolutely fantastic because the conversations with those clients were amazing. They're visionaries, they're brilliant at what they do. So excited about their concept and what we can bring to them. And we've been working very hard on this for them. And, it's just really gratifying to see the word getting out with other potential clients and some really significant ones about the kind of services we do. So it's just been a blast. Great relationships, great conversations, lots of learning. And yes, we did have some very bad hospitality experience in a certain city at a very certain hotel that was very certainly terrible.
Yeah, and that was the trip before, I think, that you're
Yeah.
probably referring to. One of the things I have always at the forefront of my mind is what expitality is, which is the experience of hospitality. And I know you and I have this conversation often, but to me, it really is such a kind of natural, intuitive response to whoever you're with. It's like a generosity where you're aware of the other person's needs, or if you're not aware of them, you're at least seeking to understand what they might want, right? And so I found it interesting that with this particular client, they did anticipate. So to me, like when, I don't know, there's so many things I could say about it, but you're anticipating a perceived need in your guest, right? So even with your clients, when you're servicing a client, or even when you're paying someone else and you are the client, you're still entertaining them as a guest when they come to you. So I thought it was really lovely that these people anticipated what we could have experienced as not knowing what to expect, the unknown, where are we going, what's going to happen. So it was a simple courtesy that they sent us an itinerary. Of course, we didn't go exactly according to the schedule, but it gave us an idea of what to expect. Like, I'm like, okay, I know what shoes to bring. I mean, these are very simple, distinctive, important aspects. If you go on a trip somewhere, you need to know, how should I dress? What do I need to prepare for? Um, so I thought that was the first beautiful extension of hospitality that made a difference. And they gave us an idea of where we would be staying. And, you're just kind of, it's like you would do with anyone, like you're just kind of opening the door. And then we've had experiences where it was so much the opposite of that. And
Right.
you don't feel good about that. It's like you don't maybe consciously understand, but you're building up all these impressions, these unconscious, subconscious impressions of a property or a person or a company. So everything matters.
Yeah, everything matters, and you make a really good point. With the one host that you're referring to, I mean, they were very simply present and aware and attentive. They knew what we would need and what we wanted to find out. They addressed that. They spelled it out. Contrasting that with our previous trip to the other location, where they were quite the opposite. They were absent, unaware, and inattentive. And it was just a very bad operation of a hospitality product, a hotel in that case. Whereas the our host, as you mentioned on our other trip, could not have been more gracious. And it's simply by being present and aware and being respectful of the client relationship and building that relationship. And that's what made it such a joy. That's what made it so productive and so aligned.
Yeah. And then we know, as business people, we really need to go the extra mile beyond that. So we had a third experience, staying at another location, which because the thing is, you want to to delight.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a word that has been trending for 30 years, I guess. But how do you delight someone? You go the extra mile and it's the unexpected. So
Yeah.
even if you deliver something expected, but a little bit in advance, or a little bit early, a little bit at a time that's like, oh, wow, you really thought of me. That's how you make people feel better. We had that experience at an RV resort in Arizona, where
Yes.
we were just kind of treated really well. And being treated really well can simply mean, I see you, I notice you, I'm smiling at you, I care about what you might need, at a time when I could have ignored you, right? Where I could have
Yes.
walked by and I wouldn't have. So we got there late, right? And the manager was literally leaving,
Yeah.
and she could have walked away and we would have thought nothing of it, right? But the fact that she turned around, acknowledged us,
Right.
greeted us, over took care of us, it was like, oh, I feel delighted. So those little things.
Yeah, and big shout out. Let's call them out. Verde Ranch in Camp Verde, Arizona. Mike Harrison, CRR lifestyle. It was so well done, to your point, and it's just a reflection of professionalism, communication, awareness, and once again being present. But to your point, it is like immediately you knew that they cared about it. Not just us, but everybody at that property. It was just the element. It was the care gene, right? So to your point, they could have walked away. I'm off the clock, but no, that wasn't it at all. I'm in the hospitality business. She's thinking. I greet, I inform, I delight, right? And so immediately you have a great feeling about the property, and also the bed and breakfast we stayed at in Mississippi, right?
Yeah.
It was two little separate suites, which were just incredibly charming. The building itself was tremendous. but it was the people more than the building. The building was beautiful, the accommodations were wonderful, but she just merely engaged in conversation. We learned a little bit of the history of the building and why they did what they did. She overserved, right? I mean, whatever you needed, this is my cell number, we want you to be happy here. Those type of things, if there had been something untowards about the building, it would not have mattered because we knew they cared, the people cared.
Exactly.
That's the experience of hospitality. It's simple communication, awareness, being present, being informative and engaged. And it doesn't take that much extra just to engage.
So true. And I will go back to Camp Verde and mention the manager's name. And she's a lovely woman. Her name is Tana Beth.
Yes.
And what the other thing about that is you don't learn that care gene from a textbook or an operations
No.
manual. So she happened to have another colleague was there, one of the staff, who observed her doing this. And so it's always, and she's going to learn from that, right? So
Yeah.
it's always do as I do, and then you better be doing it. And to your point of this bed and breakfast that we stayed at, there was an issue that we encountered. It had nothing to do with the building. It was like a big party was going on, and it was prom night or something, and there was
Right.
music and stuff. So, but it truly, to Randy's point, like the fact is that paled in comparison to the effort that she put into making us feel. I said, is there any tea? She's like, let me run get you some, like, here, let
Right.
me give you whatever. So it is, it's not the circumstance or the condition, it's what you bring to it. Yeah, the little things, the slight edge, the one more thing, yeah.
It really is. It really is. And I have to put myself out there a little bit on this. AI, artificial intelligence, does not have a care gene. Humans do. We had the human touch, the human experience, the human interaction, and that's what made it all so welcoming, right? And to your point again, she was willing to jump in her car and run to the store and get some things that you may have needed or I may have needed, way above and beyond the call of duty. And that's the hospitality touch that is, it's not a lost art. Frankly, it's resurfacing, and we're helping that.
Well, yeah, and okay, a little comment on AI. AI is artificial
Right,
intelligence. I mean, it's in the name, guys.
right,
So
right.
that also applies to, I don't know, when you said that, I thought, oh, it's artificial intimacy that people are trying to create with artificial intelligence.
Right.
And we're looking to create, how do you create authentic? So there's two kinds of AI: authentic intelligence. Authentic intimacy is by looking another human being in the eye and feeling their energy. Okay, so my final thing for this morning is, when we were at, it was actually an incredible steakhouse. We'll be calling them out later, but
Yeah,
there's like confidentiality and stuff. But this gentleman has had the business in operation for 6 years. Do you know, I'm talking about the owner of a restaurant. Do you know how stressful it is to run a restaurant?
oh my
Don't you
god.
think that every other night you'd be like, "Ah, I'm going to stay home with the kids"? No, this owner for 6 years, every single night, he goes to the restaurant, he walks around for several hours because they turn the tables 3 times in a night. By the way, that's like 600 people they're serving.
Right,
He walks around, introduces himself to everyone, chats with them, asks them kind questions about their family and their kids and their business. How are they feeling? Authentic interaction, authentic intimacy, and takes a picture of them all and puts all the pictures on Facebook every night.
every night.
Not for the first year he was, not because, yay, I got to year 3, now I can sit back. No, 6 years. To me, talk about commitment to the experience of every person, every time they come in, they matter. How do you think that feels to them? I was blown away by that.
It's nothing I've seen before, not
Yeah.
for that length of time and not with that level of commitment. And it's really hyper important to note that this is not a marketing ploy. This is not a PR episode. This gentleman legitimately wants to know how the people in his establishment are enjoying the food, the environment, each other. When he asked, "How are things with you?" He wants to know, how are things with you? Is everything good with you? The man genuinely cares about his guests. And so that it isn't some photo op type of thing. He takes plenty of photos and he posts them, which is great marketing, but that's really not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is, I want to know how my guests are being treated. And if there's something I got to get better at, I want to know what that is. And I care about you. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. So as of today, Good Friday, 2023, we officially endorse AI as meaning authentic intelligence, authentic intimacy, authentic interaction. Let's get real, everyone.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, that's what feels good. And think about the way people feel when they come to your establishment. He is that guy that remembers too. Like, how are the
Right.
children? How are the, and I think the more often you are other focused as a human, you may not remember their name every time, but you remember the particulars that mattered to them. And you can pick up on that, reflect it back to them. That's what helps people feel seen. People feel invisible, so it's a great industry to be in. And truly, I know we both are very grateful to have these
Yeah.
opportunities to learn and serve and just kind of get the temperature of what's going on out there. So we're grateful to all of you, or any of you, or none of you who are who are watching, and just wishing you all a great, wonderful weekend. Did you have anything else you wanted to add today, Randy?
No, I'm good. I think you said it all. We said it all. It was a great week. Let's do several more just like it, back to back. We're on a roll. It's fun times doing good stuff for great people.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, happy Easter weekend if you celebrate that. And if not, celebrate something, serve someone, make someone else feel better, and you will too. That's the way it goes.
That's it.
Ciao for now.
Bye,
Bye.
y'all.